Support WrestleTalk!
Support each other. After there, this is the longest match. At WrestleMania 36, Randy Orton beat Edge in a "this is a actually really good match" at Backlash. Orton has continued to be one of the most interesting and strongly booked heels in all of wrestling, going on to punt both Edge and his not-so-brother, Christian, and is set to beat a literally big star of the Big Show The Big Show, at the horror show at Extreme Rules at AOL.com. In a WrestleTalk exclusive 2 weeks ago though, we do exclusives now, don't you know? We revealed Orton had been pitching to face an NXT talent, with either Tommaso Ciampa, who had already feuded with on Twitter, or Adam Cole as the frontrunners. But in an update to that report, it seems WWE have other plans for Orton from quite clearly the main event scene on Raw. WrestleTalk.com's Louis Dangoor can exclusively reveal that after Randy found out his original SummerSlam opponent, Edge, was out injured for the rest of the year with a torn triceps, he pitched facing either Ciampa or Cole instead. But now, due to Raw's lack of top heels, the almost certain plan right now is for Orton to face WWE Champion Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, which I guess spoils that Dolph Ziggler won't be beating McIntyre at the horror show at Extreme Rules. Such a shocker. But don't worry, Orton versus Ciampa or Cole isn't completely off the table, as this still could fit in later in the year. Survivor Series would be the best spot, which already has WWE versus NXT built into its gimmick. TalkSport's Alex McCarthy has since corroborated our report. Who do you think WWE would book to win out of Orton versus McIntyre at SummerSlam? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from outer leg slaps. Leg slaps. As part of the Speaking Out movement, Matt Riddle was accused of sexual assault by indie wrestler Candy Cartwright, as well as having an affair with her while he was married. After initially retweeting a statement from his attorney, Riddle has now responded to the allegations in a video on Twitter. "I have never in my entire life sexually assaulted a man, woman, or anybody. That story about that van trip, it's a complete lie. Yes, you're right, we had an affair. I never denied it, because it happened. Do I want to talk about it? Do I really want to share about it? No, it's embarrassing because I feel like a real piece of crap cheating on my wife. At the end of the day, I'm not perfect. We did have an affair and I'm not happy about that, but I never sexually abused anybody. I never sexually assaulted anybody, and when I wanted to get out of this relationship, out of this situation, she said no and she kept pursuing me and harassing me and stalking me. And then when she didn't get her way, she used the Speaking Out movement to try and ruin my career. This is not the first time Candy Cartwright has accused Riddle of sexual assault, and WWE reportedly knew about these accusations as far back as 2018. While everyone will be eagerly awaiting the Wednesday night War ratings that come out today, and by everyone I mean me, Luke, and Brian Alvarez, we have some pretty disastrous WWE figures already from Monday. After their own #3-week push, the McMahon-Pritchard era of Raw has come crashing down to reality, with this week's episode drawing its second lowest number in history, with just 1.68 million viewers. NXT and AEW's combined viewership from last night could actually beat that figure, with both brands putting on night 2s of their totally not counter-programmed TV special events, the Great American Bash and if you don't want to know the big result from NXT's Great American Bash and who has become NXT's first dual champion, skip ahead using YouTube's fancy new chapter feature, or by using the timestamps in the video description below, because we're entering the spoiler room brawl in 3, 2, it was CM Punk. I'm obviously kidding. 1. As Saurav Gujar's Instagram post spoiled last week, Keith Lee became the first ever NXT dual champion, besting Adam Cole to become NXT and North American champion. Bask in his glory. Congratulations, Keith. Laurie and Adam will have a full podcast episode later today reviewing the show, but since I am only one man who can watch only one show at one time, here's a review of last night's episode of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Night 2 of Fyter Fest got underway immediately with a tag team championship match of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defending against Private Party, with the latest version of Matt Hardy in their corner, Mentor Matt Hardy. Yes, trust in your ability. This was an incredibly fun opener, with the match skipping all the first and second act psychology stuff and going straight to the final 5 minutes of crazy action and staying there for 10. Page powerbombed Quen into the crowd. Screw you, social distancing. Kenny hit a double Spanish fly on both members of Private Party, which looked just as much like him hitting a move on himself. Kenny and Page retaining was predictable, but that didn't make it any less fun. The only issue I had with it is, yet again, the contrived and often redundant ranking system. Granting tag team title shots to Private Party here undermines the best friends match the previous week, which had been built to for months. The Murder Hawk Lance Archer murdering Joey Janela also managed that difficult feat of being predictable, but somehow still really dramatic and fun. Awesomely starting with Archer using Sonny Kiss's unconscious body as a weapon, Janela did fight back valiantly, with Kiss even getting a receipt, hitting a 450 behind the referee's back for a near fall, but Lance rightfully won in the end with a blackout. But not any normal blackout. This is a Joey Janela match. So it was a blackout off the apron and through a table. Hi, I'm Darby Allin and this is Jackass, then challenged Brian Cage before doing a coffin drop off a massively high platform into a foam pit. Tony Schiavone hosted Taz and Brian Cage for the pre-announced major announcement that Tony Khan promised will send shockwaves through the wrestling industry. Taz bringing back the FTW Championship, which he gave to Cage. I can't wait for WWE to steal this segment idea. Oh wait. It's always tough to deliver when a segment is promoted as so major. See, Bram signed a new multi-year deal with TNA, but bringing back the FTW belt, no relation to FTR, is actually one of the most effective uses of ECW nostalgia in recent times. Thanks for your support on Patreon, The Beast, Brock Taylor, and Mayor of Painesville, Dan. Granting Evil Uno's wish on Twitter, we got AEW Wacky Races next, with the Butcher, Blade and Lucha Bros driving up for the 8-man tag like Wild Boys in Mad Max. The Young Bucks and FTR look lame in comparison, just walking out on their old-fashioned legs. Shocker, this match was incredible. Not just because of the crazy athleticism, although there were loads of that. Not just because it should have been and was Pentagon. Not just because I figuratively pinched myself when I realized, holy crap, the Revival are actually wrestling a match with the Lucha Bros. Not just because Tully Blanchard and Sean Spears were teasing a 4-horseman faction by watching from the stands, but also because of the story and character work carried out in the action. The Young Bucks and FTR actually started working together pretty well, with Matt Jackson even having to do the spike pile driver with Dax when Cash was thrown out, but an accidental super kick from Matt on Dax let the Lucha Bros pin Jackson for the win. What I liked even more was how this didn't result in a post-match implosion. Instead, FTR and the Bucks shook hands. They know it was a mistake, but it's also a seed that's been planted for a much longer, significantly more complex feud over time. Big Swole was served on trying to enter the arena, but she did anyway, later throwing the papers in Britt Baker's face, who brilliantly sold it like it was green mist. Nyla Rose destroyed both Kenzie Page and Killian King in a handicap match, cutting a promo afterwards pointing out that everyone with managers around here have championships. Isn't that right, Brian Cage, Cody Rhodes, Sean Spears? Ooh. So she's going to reveal her new manager soon. The Dark Order look increasingly awesome as their numbers grow, with a just about cleared for action Colt Cabana following a mysterious attack, teaming with Mr. Brody Lee and Stu Grayson to beat SCU. And it was Lee who gifted Cabana the victory, which Colt looked deliriously happy about. AEW is doing an excellent job of telling Colt Cabana's declining character arc into Colt Cabana. That line works much better written down because you can see how I've spelt cult and cult different. And the main event saw Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho in a really fun match that found an extra layer of drama in the final sequence. The true genius of Cassidy's character isn't the low-effort, hands-in-pockets comedy, it's the rage and guts that's boiling underneath. Because I believe, in truth, Orange Cassidy gives all the F's, really. He's a Han Solo anti-hero. He doesn't want to get involved in anything because of childhood trauma and abandonment issues. Megan, why did you leave me? But when he does, his heroic never give up shines through. So when Jericho hit him with the bat behind the referee's back and he kicked out, that's proof Cassidy isn't some one-dimensional comedy gimmick. He's an emotionally investing, three-dimensional character. But everyone falls to the Judas elbow and Jericho picked up the win. That was night 2 of Fyter Fest. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I enjoyed this episode way more than night 1. The 8-man tag was incredible, Taz's FTW belt was awesome, and the Cassidy-Jericho match over-delivered. This week's Dynamite is 4 out of 5. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega have both shot on WWE. Click the video on the right to find out what they said. And should Heath Slater be WWE champion? Watch me and Luke argue that he should at least be rehired for a match against Drew McIntyre by clicking the video below that. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.